Coreless induction furnace. The parts of this furnace are crucible, bottom refractory brickwork, hinge, insulating material, refractory packing, steel shell, coil, primary circuit. Constructional features. The furnace consists of an outer cylinder steel shell and is hinged at the bottom front side to facilitate tilting for pouring. The inner surface of the shell is covered with mica or asbestos and the bottom surface is covered with refractory bricks. Next to the insulation layer, hollow copper tubes are present for the entire height of the shell. These tubes carry current and are water cooled. A layer of insulation is provided to the coils. Compacted ramming refractory packing is provided above the bricks to form the base. A thin steel shell former is provided on the top of the base. The annular space between the shell and the coil is rammed with the ramming mass. The steel former holds the ramming mass surrounding it. The top of the furnace front ends in the form of lip or spout to facilitate the metal to flow. The inside portion of the former determines the furnace capacity. Working principle. The furnace works on the principle of a transformer in which the copper coils act as primary and the charge scrap as secondary. Sintering consists of passing low amperage current through the coil for several hours. Due to this, EMF is induced in the former and gets heated up. The former becomes red hot and this starts heating the ramming mass and sinters. Slowly, layer by layer of refractory mass gets sintered. The current is slowly increased and heating is continued for several hours. Loose, thin scrap is slowly charged into the crucible. The scrap slowly starts melting and liquid metal pool is formed. After some time, molten metal starts stirring, and the stirring action is due to the eddy current induced in the metal, which will be flowing opposite to the direction of main current. The stirring action or churning ensures homogeneous molten metal. Necessary alloying elements can be easily be added. The charge needs to be properly selected since slag removal is difficult due to stirring action. Electric arc furnace. It is a versatile furnace used to melt mainly steel. It makes use of electric current to generate the arc in the metal. The arc heats and melts the charge. Melting using electricity as a source of energy is more common. This is because electric furnace provides more flexibility and cleanliness in operation. These are suitable for the production of high quality steels. There are two types of electric arc furnaces: direct arc furnace, indirect arc furnace. Direct arc furnace comprises of three-phase power supply, graphite rods, magnesite brick, slag door, magnesite brick, rammed earth, steel shell, and pouring spout. Constructional features used to melt mainly steel. Dish-shaped steel shell that forms the main portion and where melting takes place. The inside of this has refractory lining of magnesite bricks. This can be either stationary or tilting type. The dish sets on a semi-circular gear arrangement to facilitate tilting of the furnace by 40 to 60 degree. Can be tilted backwards by 10 to 20 degree to remove slag. Above the bottom earth, a spout is provided for tapping out molten metal. While tilting for the metal to flow into a ladle, a pit is made to rest the ladle. Diagonally opposite to spout is a small door arrangement opening to facilitate the addition of alloys and removal of slag. The graphite electrodes enter the furnace from roof. The electrodes are raised and lowered by means of guides and are usually water cooled to dissipate the heat. Metal can be charged from furnace roof. Working principle. It works on the principle that When an arc is struck between the electrode and the charged material, heat is generated due to the resistance of the metal charge. Burnt lime with coke is supplied to the furnace and continuous arcs are generated by the rods and thus heats the molten metal in contact. Supply of necessary current and voltage to the electrode by a control panel. The gap between the charge and the electrode is maintained in order to produce an arc. The flux melts and forms slag that floats on the surface, which prevents oxidation, refines the metal, and protects the furnace. Ore oil boil occurs due to iron oxide formation and thus necessary alloys are added after testing is done. After melting, the electrodes are raised to extinguish the arc. The furnace is then tilted to pour the liquid metal into ladles. Insulating powders are thrown into ladles to prevent radiation loss of liquid metal. Indirect arc furnace comprises of charging door, electrode, molten metal, rocking unit and steel shell with refractory lining. Constructional features: the furnace consists of a cylindrical or barrel-shaped shell lined with a refractory material. The shell is mounted on rollers and can be tilted through 180 degree. This facilitates for easy pouring. Also, the rollers provide rocking action to the furnace that speeds the melting rate. Two carbon electrodes are mounted along the horizontal axis and can be automatically adjusted for maintaining proper arc column. A charging door and pouring spout serve their purpose. Working principle: the ingot steel scrap and alloy metals and fluxing agents are charged into the furnace. On supplying the necessary current and voltage, an arc is struck between the two non-consumable carbon electrodes. The electrodes are brought closer together and maintained so that the arc remains between them. The charge melts by radiation from the heat produced by the arc and also by conduction from the heat absorbed by the refractory lining. Once the metal melts, the furnace is rotated, set to rock to and fro. This helps the refractory lining to get heated up and also the molten metal exposed to a larger area of the heated lining. Rocking stirs the molten metal homogeneously. When the liquid metal reaches the desired temperature, the furnace is tilted mechanically and the metal is tapped in ladles and poured into the molds.